Mizuno are known for making some of the best irons on the market, but should you be taking their drivers more seriously? Let's go find out. So today we're testing the new Mizuno STG. Now it's quite an interesting model. Mizuno are really trying to push their tour market and get more drivers out on tour. So on the back of that, they've really gone into some player feedback and made this new model. It's a 440cc head, which means it's more compact than drivers we normally see, and you can really see that over the golf ball. It sits really nicely, and as like a lower handicap, I really like the way that sits. I think it looks great behind the golf ball. It's still got that real traditional driver feel, which I think Mizuno does fit into kind of that traditional space. And overall, it just looks really good behind the golf ball. Now, the whole point of this is that it's very versatile, but also the main theme is that it's more of a low spin model. That's typically what we see more players want on tour. And actually, a lot of Mizuno players are very high speed players. They hit the ball a long way. Think of like your Keith Mitchells, your Marco Penges.
Guys, it's Keith Mitchell. Today, I'm going to teach you how to send it.
Keith Mitchell.
They're really flying the golf ball a long way, so they want something that spins less to really help with those high speeds. Now, the versatility comes from these tracks on the bottom. So we can move these around to make this more forgiving. If we put them in the back like we've got here, if you move them to the front, you can bring launch down, but you can also make them this more fade or draw bias. So it's really giving you like that shot shaping ability, or the ability to take one side of the course out if you want to. I don't spin it loads, so we're going to keep it in the back option for now and see how we get on with that. Now, what's quite interesting about this track is it's a lot longer than what we normally see. You can see it runs right to the back of the head. So that means when we move these weights around, it's going to have a bigger influence on performance and changing the fly and the shape. You've also got more adjustability on the hosel, so we can change the loft, and we can also change the lie angle on this, so we can make this more upright if we want to. And other big tech is kind of the Cortex chamber on the front of here, which is designed to just support that face a little bit more and give you a little bit more ball speed. So I've tested this out on the range already. Let's hit some more shots on the course with TrackMan and see what's happened. Someone's going to ask, so I'll tell you now, I've got a Mitsubishi shaft at 60 grams and it's stiff. Based off purely looks, I would use this driver. Do what you want with that information. I actually really like the fact that the club face is smaller, like the smaller shape, because it makes the face look a lot deeper, which I think is quite confidence inspiring. I mean, it went dead straight, but it definitely didn't feel like it was spinning enough. Yeah, 1500 spin rate, probably a tad on the low side for me. 216 carry, I mean, I'm only at 92 club head speed. I think I need to warm up a little bit more. Felt better. What I do like with this though is sometimes I get a really high ball flight, like this, to the point it's uncontrollable. And with this you can feel it is a lot more controlled. Like I don't feel like I'm gonna really get that moon ball, which is especially important if you're someone who like plays in the wind. You're in somewhere where you need to control your ball flight a lot more, and obviously you can guess in that tour player bracket they can control the ball a bit better, one. But two, they need a lot more precise control, so you can feel how they've designed this for that. Spins up there, it was a better strike, 1850, 239 carry, it's pretty good. 272 total. Maybe I'll take the low spin. What's quite interesting, I had 147 ball speed there, which is really pretty high for me, based on the fact like I'm on the lower end of my club head speed there, so that was 94.7. Pretty good efficiency. They've actually got a new titanium face in this year, which is different to what they've used before. So maybe that's actually helping. Side note, look how cute this golf ball is. It looks just like my cockapoo, Mowgli. I stole a few from the TaylorMade office when we went to California. These are actually Colin Morikawa's ball, but I'm just obsessed with them. I'd say you definitely notice like smaller changes in like your performance more. So my previous shot was like a 0-0 face to path, so it was very straight. If I get one where the path's like 3 left, which maybe isn't massive, you do see a noticeable change in shot shape. So it's not necessarily like one of those more forgiving drivers you pick up where you can basically hit most swings somewhere near the face and it goes pretty straight. Like you're gonna see a lot more ability to shot shape with this. So I think you need to decide if that's what you want to do. You know, if you're someone who consistently hits a fade, you like to hit a fade, you like to see the ball peeling, then this is going to help that because you're going to be able to hit that shot shape. If you're someone who wants something a lot more neutral, and it's going to help you on your bad shots. Maybe this isn't quite the model, but again, it is designed for tour pros, so it is at that better player market. You know what? To say that swing was terrible, it actually wasn't that bad. Like, I still carried it 225, and the spin was nearly 2,000. It was a tad toey. Let's just not look at the strike mark on that. Right, I'm definitely hitting a fade, so should we put this in the draw and see how much it helps? Right, we're going max draw. It's required, because I feel like I'm swinging it to the right and my path's still left. It's not optimal. Jesus, that made quite a big difference, actually. It definitely set off a lot straighter. My path wasn't any different. Carry's gone up to 243 from literally the same club head speed. Pretty interesting. Straight down the middle as well. Take that numbers. The spin's also jumped up a lot. Ball speed good, spin up, which I prefer, so I don't want to see the ball just dipping off and disappearing. 243 carry. Not bad. I did not expect to see the spin jump up so much. But imagine how much it'd fade if I put it in the fade setting. More consistent, faster ball speed in the draw setting. I'm going to try the fade setting now, just for the lols. I might regret that choice at some point. Although sometimes, when I go for fins, they set the driver up in fade, and I draw it more, and vice versa. So, like, sometimes you don't always react the way you think, so it is worth, like, one, probably going for a fin, but two, actually, don't just expect it to do what it says it's going to do, because we're all weird. We all react to weight differently. We're going to do different things. So see if I prove that point now or not. Straight shot I've held it. I told you. Golf clubs are not logical. I've set that up to fade. And that's like the nearest I've hit to a draw. With my worst left path of the day. And it's carried 245, spun 2-2 pretty much, which is perfect. Total 270. 145 ball speed, off 94 and a bit club head speed. There's one ball that's gone about a yard further left than that. Make it make sense. Same. Literally the same. So in summary, if you want to hit it straight / left with a slight draw, put it in the fade setting. I mean, at least I'm consistent. That happens every time. It's not bad grouping. I take that. There's not in the bush, so that's like positive. That's what I'm working on at the moment. Not loving the driver in a bush. These feel like bombs though. Two of them were in the fade setting. Overall, I'd say that was pretty interesting. I think there's a few different ways in where this driver performs really well. It looks great behind the ball. It has a lot of workability, which I think for a lot of lower handicaps and kind of players, it's going to be a really big advantage because there's so many drivers now on the market which they're actually quite hard to shape. So if you're trying to hit a certain shot, it's a lot easier to do it with this. I also think the adjustability and the like different options is massive because there's not that many drivers now that have adjustable weights on the sole. It takes a lot of weight out of other areas of the head, so people don't tend to do it unless it's one of those smaller models. And you could clearly see just how much I could influence like my ball flight by changing those weights in the sole. So I think if you're someone who's going to use this model, I would definitely go get fit and move around those weights and see what the different options are, because I can't believe how much my start line and how much less curve I had with some of these options. Now, overall, in terms of other performance, I averaged 233 yards in terms of carry, which is pretty on the mark for me. That was with 94 mile an hour of club head speed on average. What I really liked was the height was at 92. So for me, I can get stuff that's too high, and I think that's just in a really nice window relative to like that ball speed and that club head speed. And actually, you know, the spin didn't turn out too bad. It's interesting, the spin was at the lowest when I had it in the back, when it in theory should have been the highest. But actually when I tweaked the weights around a little bit more, I was getting more spin and ended up in that optimal like low to mid 2000s, which is going to be really workable out on the golf course. You know, overall, these numbers are really optimized. I would say at the moment, maybe I'm hitting a little bit too much shot shape to necessarily use this, but if I straighten that path out a little bit, this could definitely be an option, but it would need to be in one of those settings where I'm getting a little bit more spin. This is definitely worth a go if you're looking at some new drivers, because not only is it right up there in terms of performance, ball speed, carry distance, it's also offering something different with that adjustability, and I really like that.